free-to-play games get a bad rap. Or do they? If you go to Steam and sort by free games, you see a bunch of highly rated free games such as CSGO, TF2, Apex Legends, and Destiny. But one free game that might get the worst rap is Paladins. Paladins is a multiplayer fantasy hero shooter, in other words, League of Overwatch. It gets a bad rap for it being a clone of Overwatch and having supposedly bad graphics and unoriginal ideas. But how bad could it possibly be? Before looking at the game, I need to state what it is I'm looking at in this game. I'm going to be talking about characters, maps, gameplay, and style. I won't be trying to compare the game to Overwatch because I've never played Overwatch, so my comparison can be completely incorrect. Before we get into the characters though, let's hear a word from our sponsor, Specific Gaming. This video is sponsored by Specific Gaming, a Discord server of which I am an admin on, and am being told I will be given money if it gets to 400 members. Have you ever wanted to join a server with not just Oykelville, the official Oykel town, but also Bosnia? Then Specific Gaming is just right for you. Specific Gaming is a social server based around connecting people and making relationships. Maybe, I don't know, that's a bunch of bullshit. In the server, I have my own little corner where you can become an Oykelite, the official name of an Oykel fan / resident of Oykelville. It sounds bad, but I'm technically a Melbourneite, and I hate it, so you have to suffer too. This isn't working, no one's gonna join. I have an idea. The invite link to the server can be found down below, or you can scan the QR code that should be right here. I'm excited to see you there. I'm being paid $10 if we get 400 members, so it'd be amazing if you can do that. I'll see you on the server. Bye. Paladins in total has 55 characters, all of them standing their own ground. Because of its fantasy element, its characters' designs and abilities aren't bound by any kind of realism, allowing them to have a soldier, literally Satan, and a giant worm all working together. A lot of characters feel unique, but some of them have very clear inspirations. I could talk about a lot of characters that mimic Overwatch characters, but a lot of them are from when the game was first released and they were base characters. If you look at the characters that they've added now, you can easily tell that there's a lot more work put into them and a lot more originality. Right now there seems to be a bit of a balancing issue with flank classes. They're extremely overpowered, but that also might just be flank, and it might just be that people playing them are just better at the game. Because to be fair, the characters I play are support, and they can wipe an entire team in 15 seconds, but only if I'm trying. It's easy to say that they're broken because the game is free and it gets a bad rap, so it's easy to say that there's just no care put into the game. Overall, I think the characters in this game hold up. Time to move on to the maps. Hey, editing Ryan here. I'd just like to interject in this part of the video because, I talk about the characters and flanks being broken, but I want to talk from someone who has now played probably 20 hours more since I recorded this video. I've started to branch out into every class, getting a character in each one so I'm efficient in any kind of scenario, so I'm not just playing support anymore. I've started playing flanks and damage, and I can say that as a support, you can just brutalize the enemy, but it is a lot easier as a flank. But that doesn't mean flanks are broken. I believe that's all I have to say, but yeah, flanks aren't broken, supports can stand on their own. Also, high res, please add more support characters that are actually healers. I'm sorry, but Furia isn't a healer. There's no way. Just put her in damage. Just put her in damage. There aren't really any maps in this game that I don't like except for one which I'll talk about in a bit. Ice Mines, Timber Mill, and Bright Marsh are some of my favorite maps because they master the tight space to open space ratio in my opinion. There aren't too many areas in these maps where it feels like you can be hit from the other side of the map. Maps like these allow characters' abilities to really shine and allow for a lot more strategic plays to be made. Ice Mines is a solid map in my opinion, it has good tight spaces whilst providing the team with great spawns that will undoubtedly provide them with the upper hand when the enemy tries to push the payload. Timber Mill is a tight, open map, being horizontally tight while vertically breathable, which allows for interesting combat situations, especially while capturing the payload. Last on the list, which is my favorite of all of them, Bright Marsh. Bright Marsh has a well-made spawn area with an amazing push line in my opinion. I don't know any of the actual gamer terms, but I mean the track that the payload goes across. The map is built really well, where characters that are more AoE or short range can easily get in and attack, flanks can easily get around, and long range players can easily have spots to hide and shoot from, such as the windows, which I think are brilliantly placed. There are rounded rectangle windows across the map that allow you to get good insights in certain areas, such as the ones by the payloads that are kind of hard to notice and you can't help but feel like you actually got owned if someone kills you from that spot. A lot of the other maps are either well made but not as good in my opinion, or I just haven't played them. But one map I've played that I despise is... I couldn't find the map on the wiki, but let's call it Try Hard Hell. Try Hard Hell is an extremely open map with tight areas that don't function the same as they do in other maps. Where tight areas are made to keep the fights interesting and intense, this map's tight areas are made to get you killed. Playing anything but a damage class on this map is a death wish. As a support main, I feel that it's important that I can support my teammates, but it's kinda hard when I get sniped the second I walk into the center of the map.
Thanks, mate!
The only safe spot in the map is the main building, and the only reason why it's safe is because the boosters that shoot you up into it because it's elevated don't actually work half the time. The map is just a nightmare to play on, especially when the enemies use their ults and start riding a dragon across the map. Gameplay is super important in a game. If the game isn't enjoyable, then no one would put time into it. Paladins has a good gameplay loop. The only time it feels bad to play is when the enemy is better than you, which isn't the game's fault, it's my fault for not being good enough. Each map fits each game mode perfectly, and the character's abilities also function great on the maps. The game has two really interesting systems, the decks and the match credits. Whilst playing, you can get credits. These credits will be given to you over time, or can be obtained by capturing the objective or getting kills. Credits can be used to purchase upgrades, which can increase your damage deployables, your speed, your maximum health. There's a lot of things to choose from, which can be really confusing, but they added a feature called auto buy, where it will purchase the best features for your specific character. The deck system is my favorite and I think it works really well. Each character has a bunch of cards that can affect certain character stats and abilities. These allow for metas and decks to be made for specific playstyles, meaning that as a healer, I don't have to hang back. I can also go guns blazing, or hang back but with better healing. The deck system is great and really fun to play with because you don't have to go along with the meta. You can make your own deck and still do as good as the other players because the decks don't have a massive effect on the gameplay, but do greatly improve it, if that makes sense.
Oh no, the style section of this video has disappeared.
That's not true. It is really late. Well, it's not really late, but it's 12:30 a.m. right now. And for purposes of, actually getting this video out, I will be cutting that part of the video since I don't really say too much. But onto the conclusion. After going over all the selected criteria, I've come to the conclusion that Paladins is a good game. It gets a lot of hate for being an Overwatch clone, but it's got a lot of heart put into it. It's got interesting systems in place, character diversity, and a big bonus is that it's not made by sex offenders or misogynists. Overwatch may be more popular, but Paladins wasn't made by morally questionable people. Thanks for watching the video, make sure to like and subscribe, comment your thoughts on the video, and if you think Paladin sucks, join the Discord to debate me. I dare you.